what's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Kevin C. Fate Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Davis. I am a comic creator, writer, author, publisher, entrepreneur, and so many other hats that I do not feel like spelling out to you right now because I'm too tired. Just kidding. But my new guest today is Mr. Devin R. Scott, the editor-in-chief of Summit Comics. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing this lovely Saturday?
Man, I'm trying. I'm hanging in there. Hanging in there, man. And it's been a roller coaster with projects. And you know how it is. I know you probably edit like 1,000 projects every single day.
Trust me, it doesn't get any easier. I've been doing this for 7.5 years, starting on June
Man,
1st. So I've been all over the place.
man, kudos to you, brother. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do besides the editor in chief. Obviously, that's mentioned that. But like, what else other things you do?
So I am also a writer, I'm an editor, and I have my own publishing studio called Epic Fantasy Studios. Outside of all this, the Summit Comic stuff I've only added in the last year just because it was a new opportunity for me and my friends to do something cool. Longtime comic reader, a collector, and I've got a billion different hobbies. So like, I could go into every which, way, video games, vinyl records, comic books, novels, all this stuff. I keep myself very busy. I don't really like sitting on my hands for too long.
Man, I feel that so much, man. Like ever since I started got into comics, I try to like dab my hands to like different things. So like I started out writing novels, but then I found out about comics in 2020 when COVID hit, and I didn't know comics existed at all.
Okay.
Like as a kid, I did not grow up on comics, man. Like that's how
Hey,
crazy of a hole I
no,
was in my entire life.
hey, it happens. I've heard like crazier things in my life. So to only just discover comics, I'm happy that you're here with us now.
Yeah, dude. Like I grew up with like the Marvel and DC or like the animations, TV shows, movies and everything, but I never knew they were a different medium before then
Yeah.
until I got on TikTok and they was on my For You page and they
Okay.
was talking about comics. Like with me, I was expecting them to talk about movies and stuff or something else when they come out. But no, their account was talking about comics and I'm like, wait, what the heck is comics? And so I went on their website, see thousands of books of these characters. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm not a full-fledged nerd like I thought I was because I didn't even know like this existed in another freaking medium. Like, where the hell have I been my entire life? And so I get their digital property because I'm like, it was a new thing for me. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. So of course I
Hmm.
went with the Spider-Man first and the Blade first and the X-Men first because I actually grew up on that.
Right.
So and then I transitioned to like other characters I don't even know about yet. Like I went to like the Scarlet Witch. I went to Static Shock. I went to so many other characters that I can't name off the top of my head because I'm like, it's so many of them in my head. I can't name them off the top. But it's so many beautiful characters I never knew about. And
Absolutely.
I mean, like over the years, with the Marvel, the cinematic universe, I've always heard comments like, "Okay, that character's different from the comics." It's like that's not, or like that character's not how they're supposed to be. I'm like, what you mean not how they're supposed to be? They're like they're just here. Like, what you
Hmm.
mean? Now I understand it by reading the freaking source material of what these characters are based
Absolutely.
on. And then I'm a big Hellboy fan. I found out he's a comic book too, so I bought the
Hmm.
physicals of those from Dark Horse. And then I found Sonic. Then I found Teenage. I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, I've literally been like, I'm catching up on my nerdness. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
nothing wrong with that. It's always good to, really tap into the things that you've been missing out on. Especially if you had no idea that they were, out there to begin with. So, someone like me who's been reading comics since, he was a real little kid, that's how I learned how to read.
Heck yeah.
So, I've got 20 plus years just knowledge worth of reading, buying, collecting, all that stuff. So it's like to happen upon people who have, only just gotten into comics or were interested in the medium, and I can just give them something to read, whether it's just a recommendation or my own material. It's
Heck
quite
yeah.
cool to see. But yeah,
Heck yeah.
man, you got a lot of options out there.
Dude, and I tell you, I need to get a new shelf for comics because I've been buying the crazy with independent comics. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get a
Mm,
whole new shelf now. It's like not just for my comics, but every time I see that freaking fascinates me, and I was like, dude, okay, yes, I need to build a new ship now because
Yeah.
these people are going to keep taking my wallet every single time I come online. So it's like, might as
Hmm.
well. But before we get to your comic, I want to ask you, as editor in chief, what's your process with that? Because I know I'm pretty sure you had like I said, 1,000 books and projects. Like, how do you balance that between that and then your own projects?
It's like any job, honestly. It's all about just proper balancing. So my own projects, I can always pick those up anytime because they're mine. There's really no like concrete timetable for that stuff. Whereas, for Summit related books, whether it's French or our latest one, Summit Presents, which is going to be coming up, or any other book that we have, I have a staff of editors behind me as well, or below me, I should say, that I also have work on these projects, so it's not just me. Because
Nice.
realistically, I
Okay.
could I could try to do them all myself, but as someone who's been on over like 200 projects, whether it's writing or editing,
Oof.
and the majority of those projects were editing projects, it's a lot of stuff to try to do alone. Editing is not just about like doing dialogue work or narrative work, developmental stuff. It's a lot more because comics are a collaborative medium. You need to make sure scripts are properly in order
Yeah.
before you pass it to the next person. So, I like I said, I coordinate with my editing staff, and we've got like two groups with, well, when I say groups, groupings for where titles fall. So say like
Gotcha.
cosmic, mystic, and like one other thing is one or two editors in that group. And then for the next group is like vigilantes, espionage, and something else, or however I got it like set up. And that's like another two editors, or however many editors might fall on that. And then I also can jump in at any time, if I want to do like some actual like edit stuff other than just like looking over stuff, approving stuff, and what have you. Make sure final project products are good, I can actually still dive in and do whatever I feel like doing wherever I'm needed. So, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's cool. It's something different than just writing a book. Writing a book takes a different type of mentality. Editing really takes a lot more because you have to place your ego outside and be non-biased when you're looking through things. So that way you can properly elevate a project to the next level. And a lot of people seem to skip out on the editorial process freelance wise because that's another expense where people figure they could just do the work themselves, but that actually makes a subpar product. And mind you, I myself, I've skipped over the process, but like I understand that the financial aspect of it is different, but I can at least ask other people to look over my work
Yeah.
and point out things, regardless of having a traditional editor or not.
Mm. Yeah, when I first started, that's kind of how I was. I was like doing everything myself. I got into comics like 2022 officially, like professionally when I started because I had that like what if moment. I got very fascinated with the storytelling of comics. I was like, okay, can I do this myself? Like, but then again, the other question is, how do they make these books?
Right,
And so I went around, I spent like 2.5 years studying the crafting of comics, like to learn. Like I asked writers that I met on social media, I asked artists, I'm like, how do y'all go through this process? Because I'm very fascinated.
right.
And then I was like, at first I was like thinking like I'm a hire a writer to do it for me because I was scared to do it myself. But then I thought about it and said, but can I translate my brain though? Is the question because my brain goes weird. And I
Well,
was
you
like, I'm
need
not
that
sure
to
if they
do it.
can, yeah. I'm like, so I was like, I might need to do it myself. So I spent another year studying the craft of comic scripts.
Hmm.
A few months to a year, I studied the crafting of comic scripts, like how to write them, how to format them. I legit looked at a movie script and a comic script to see how like they're similar because one of the devices like it's like a movie screenplay, but you have to put in like panels and you have to be more descriptive than a screenplay. And I'm
Absolutely.
like, so I like for example, I looked up like the John Wick movie script and then I found a random comic script. I don't know what it was. I just found a random comic script. I found a lie. So I don't know what it was. But then I saw I'm like, oh, that's the difference of what they were saying. And it's like, and since I learned that, I was like, okay, now what story do I want to tell? And
Right.
what's my character? What's the story arc I want to? And like, then do I want to world build? And like, how do I world build? So many like questions like popped up in my head. And then I started overthinking, and then like the imposter syndrome just kind of sinks in. I was like, okay, I started doubting myself. But then I was like, okay, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I am not going to do it. I'm not going to quit because that vocabulary is not in my blood. Especially learning, my family actually comes from a family of business. And my
Okay.
mother is a writer as well. And so I got tips from her. And I read her murder mystery novel before she published it while she's revamping it. That
Mm.
really sparked my fire. I was like, okay. And then I realized I love horror and I love fantasy. And so ideas started dying down out the blue when I stopped like I let my brain flow, let's let it flow. I'm like, okay, I think I know what I want to do now. And so now I
Absolutely.
write like science fiction, horror, fantasy, because that's my strong suit. And I've been told like by my artist that my brain is scary. So I'm like, well, it happens. And so and I'm still here. 4 years later, I'm still here and I'm still kicking. So,
There we go. See, you managed to really stand the test of, the
mhm,
the rigorous portions of creating. Now is just learning the entrepreneurial side and staying within this because you need to not only make it profitable, but you need to be able to make it expansive for you,
that
and
part.
that way you can move a little freer because some people just don't want to do that kind of stuff. They figure, oh, well, if I make the book, people will show up. No, people don't just
It's
show
like
up out the
no,
blue.
like
You
yeah,
have to do some work. Like that's what newsletters are for, so you can spread the word a little bit more. That's what Kickstarters are for. That's what conventions are for. That's what, networking with other creators is for. You have to do all these things in order to really move through, just being a creative overall because it's not just going to fall in your lap. Now,
exactly.
respectfully, I've met some people who've had opportunities that have fallen into their lap. Whether or not they deserve it, that's not on me to say. Everybody is biased once they see somebody else get something that they think they should get.
Oh
And,
yeah, oh yeah.
I've done enough hard work these years. I've been noticed by people who are bigger than me
Mhm.
substantially. So it's like, you know what, my time will come. They say for any successful creative, it takes like 10 years for them to really take off. I'm 7.5 in, so like I got 2.5 more for something either picks up or it's just gonna drop. So I'm figure out
Yeah.
which one it's gonna be.
Yeah, but then again, the way I was taught is that you can't really put a timetable on it because
Hmm.
everyone's different. Some might
Absolutely.
take 10 years, some might take a year, some might take 5 months. So it's like you can't really put a timetable on it. And like when I first started, I was a dumbass. I was a freaking dumbass. And but now I'm like running back and forth trying to rush things so freaking fast
Mm.
because my for some reason my mind's like I need to catch up with these people because I want to get out there. It's like but then now I'm 4 years in, I'm freaking chilling. I was like my books will get done, they're get done. I'm quality over quantity. I don't care how long it takes.
Exactly.
And I make this joke every single time. I'm like, my name might be Kevin, but I'm not Kevin Feige. I'm actually quality over quantity. And so I want to take my time with stuff. As of this month, May has actually marks my fourth official year.
Okay. Here we go.
So, and I'm like, now I'm in a better mindset and space where I'm like, I can chill and relax, but also market in a better way. While my books are in production, I can start putting out teases and see what
Yep.
catches an eye.
Absolutely.
And now I have a friend, an art friend, that actually got helped me be a better salesman now because he's a
Mm.
good salesman. And I he did a freaking amazing promotional art for me that it got and it got some really good attraction on it. I was like, oh, wait a minute, okay, this guy's onto something. I need to keep him. So I legit I told him I was like, okay, you're stuck with me now because it's like the most I've gotten traction in a while on a story I've done so far.
Mm.
And so now I'm getting like those elements of like open up to like other creators because they know more than I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And plus, I try to build a friendship with somebody before I can think about a business partnership because I
Right.
want both of us to have fun and doing the project, and that's how I do the same thing with my artists. I was
Exactly.
like, because I'm like, I don't deal with egos. I'm like, I do not deal with egos. If you have a massive ego, I'm not gonna work with you.
So,
It is because one, I used to have an ego, but I had to, I mean, what I call it, I had an ego death, like an ego death. So I'm like, I'm very strategic on how I do everything now. I'm like, I'm
right.
thinking before I act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was like, and so like me and my friend made this deal. It's like I let him draw some art prints for the convention while he
Mm.
actually sells my book at a convention since I can't make it there yet.
Right.
We're going to make some sales while he's selling art prints of my character while also selling my book. I was like, you didn't have to freaking do this at all. But it's the fact that he said he loved my character and he loved my book. He wanted to do this for me. And I was like, well, hell, how many books you want? I don't know. I was like, I'll get them out to you. I was like, I can't make it there physically yet. How many freaking books out? And also, it's like, when's the date for that event? It's like, now I'm like, okay, now I know what the dates are. Now I know like when to strategize and get them out there just in time for that event.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, now this is a different way of announcing a different way of networking. And then like yesterday I was like, oh shoot, I mean with the books, and I see my business cards that you can pass out to potential
Yeah,
fans too. He said, yeah,
absolutely.
because he has a friend that did the same thing with him. He has a friend that sent him business cards that he was on his stuff, and
Mhm.
he said that his friend got so much business from that. I was like, shit. I was like, oh, I was getting so excited. Okay. So, because I'm getting some new updated business cards, because I didn't think about that until yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, I need to send business cards with the books, so he can while he pass out the books, he can pass out my business stuff. And so
Exactly.
it's like I have that creator brain and the entrepreneur brain going back and forth between. So I was like, oh, that might. And now I'm learning different ways of networking and putting myself out there. Even if I can't make it to events, I have someone that goes to events I can trust
Mm-hmm.
now that can
Exactly.
help me, and we have a deal where he can make prints of my character with his art and sell for himself while he's selling my books. I'm like, this is how this is how you make business deals with people, and this is how you network and get your stuff out there. Like you said, it's not just going to drop on your hand, or like
Mm-hmm.
people aren't just going to come to you. You have to reach out for them to be interested to come to you.
Absolutely.
And it's like my first 4 years. My fourth year, I was like, I've actually found myself in this industry. I was like, I'm actually more comfortable with it, and now I'm like, I know that I'm doing this right this time. My first 3 years were rough. Like, I don't know what the crap I was doing, but now learning something, like meeting more people from podcasting and getting that knowledge, I was like,
Mm.
okay, now I can get the ball rolling smoother. Tongue tied, smoother. I always say that God's opened the door for me that I can't see yet,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now I'm starting to see it. And
Exactly.
then and then connecting with Travis Gibbs and you guys at Summit, I'm learning from you guys because you guys want to be on my coming on my shows. I was like, well, god damn, I have an entire company that wants to talk to me now. I was like, that's interesting. And then I start in August marks my first full year as a host of a podcast.
Okay.
So coming up in
Congratulations.
August, and thank you so much. And I hesitated for a while to be a host because I didn't know if I could carry a conversation.
Right.
But ever since I started, it was like I've gotten so used to it now. I would love to talk to people. I was like, even though I'm still like very introverted, but being around this creative mindset of people, like having that same I guess mentality, like that same interest in creative, and I'm like, I know I can do it now. And like I've been doing it almost a year now, podcasting as a host, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. Like like from Deadpool, when he tells me I'm going to do it till I'm 90. But enough of me blabbling. Let's get back to you, man. I just want to get that out, Rick. Rick, you have a new comic that's out on Kickstarter right now called Trench, which actually looks badass, by the way. Can you see that?
Absolutely. I see my baby front and center right there.
Awesome. So please, brother, tell us about this badass comic that you got going on. Because one, I freaking love it already. That's about the promotional art I first saw when you sent it to me. But dude, and you also caught my attention when you said Hollywood monsters. So I'm like, what is this? Because this is fantastic. So please talk to us, brother.
So Trench, Hollywood Monsters, or is the first ongoing series of my title character Trench, who happens to be an alien in a trench coat. Trench's first appearance was actually in our very first Summit comic, titled Summit Pinnacle #1, which came out a few
What's
months
that?
ago, actually. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trench's first, 6-page origin shows up in there. Basically, they got reawakened after being stranded on Earth by the death of an ultra terrestrial, which we call like higher than high beings. So if aliens are
Wow.
extraterrestrials, then there's a level beyond that. Trench happens to be an ultra terrestrial themselves. So, it just was fitting. So they got reawakened. They took a renewed interest in humanity. And then, they realized, like, hey, like, this place sucks now. Like, let me go clean some of it up. And they just so happened to happen upon a cult, the cult of Dagon, that was worshiping a different ultra terrestrial, who was actually the villain of Hollywood Monsters. The title actually is twofold. It's actually, the meaning is two different things there. So not only is it two literal monster types in Hollywood, but it's just kind of like that double entendre of, all right, if there's actual monsters, then the people that's already in Hollywood are, it's a very predatory place. People go there to become famous, but what would you do to, become famous sort of situation?
Mm,
So, you get Trench and Dagon, who inhabits a human host at this stage, so it's just like, all right, cool. So I get to, start it off and really get people into like the thick of what Trench is about. And obviously, over time, I'll have more cult stuff, more like actual monsters, more alien stuff. I'm just trying to get
yeah.
weird.
Oh, I love weird, especially aliens.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I don't know like what attracts me to like those type of characters, like aliens, like the franchise Alien for God's sakes. Oh, I'm a big horror fan from Alien to like The Thing. First of all, Jesus Christ, this looks terrifying.
That's Dagon right there. Dagon and his human host.
Oh my God. Oh, now I see you said the two different types of Hollywood monsters.
Yep.
Oh my
See,
God.
it really shows out in that
Oh,
print, which was exclusive for the first 48 hours of the campaign. So that has passed. So anybody who
dang.
backed in the first 48 obviously has
Yeah.
gotten it now. So after
Yeah.
campaign, they'll get it digitally, they'll get it physically if you backed at a physical level, which I encourage because, digital's alluring until the power goes out. So
Yeah, yeah. My God. This is a 24-page issue. How many issues you planning on with Trench by himself?
So as many as I can do. So the Hollywood Monsters is a two-part story. So this will be issue
Okay.
one, and then it'll have a follow-up. How I've explained the publishing is how I will be doing it is kind of akin to like how Hellboy was originally published.
Yeah.
So Hellboy did like a series of limited series, a
Mm.
lot of one shots. Then obviously there was a main story for Hellboy in BPRD. Abe
Ah,
Sapien had a long ongoing story as well, and all that stuff coalesced into like basically the end of the world scenario sort of situation. So for me, with Trench, it'll be these first two issues. Then I might put out a one shot issue that might be however long. Then I might do like three issues or however many I feel like doing. I could put out a bunch of one shots in a row, but it all
hey.
connects in some way to Trench's story uh, overall. And you don't have to necessarily read everything in order, at least how I'm
I was
trying to
just
do
about
it.
to ask that. Oh, okay.
So, but it'll make sense where you read part, but in collected editions, obviously, I would probably collect all the stories in order, so that way you can read it from this to that. So that way, it's a
Uh,
little easier to comprehend instead of just, oh man, well, he put the last one first. Like,
yeah.
okay, or maybe he put it all backwards, so you have to read it backwards, going back to the beginning, sort of
Got
situation,
you.
which
Yeah.
really a really cool thing. I might have to do that, give myself ideas.
Oh, I love that. That's legit me all the freaking time, dude. When I start talking and then an
Mhm.
idea just pops while you're talking, man. Oh, what is happening in this scene right here in this first page that you have on here?
So basically, Trench is he's well, they're in London right now. At that moment in time, they
Mm,
found another little conclave of cult of Dagon folks, and it's time to get rid of them. They don't need to be here.
right,
They
right.
they're basically taking care of all the business there, getting rid of them as best they know how. A mix of spear hits, laser gun shots, brute strength, whatever it takes to get rid of the cult. So I think it's always fun to get creative, and I love that my collaborator Nico Arcudi is just very much of the same mind and didn't mind showcasing a little bit of gore. Nothing's wrong with a little bit of gore, especially if it's tasteful. So
Yeah, when watch like read stuff, I don't mind the gore. I'm more like if as long as the gore makes sense with the story, I don't care.
yeah, absolutely.
I was like, as long as it's not like a gore porn, as people call it, like the Terrifier movie. It's like,
Exactly.
is it if the gore goes with the freaking story, go for it. Like just don't
Exactly.
do it just to do it, like what people call a shock factor or like
Yeah.
a scare jump or something like that. Like
You
just
know,
don't do that because
you
that
don't
gets
need the
old
shock
very.
factor all the time anyway. There are moments
Yeah,
that it needs to purposefully, work the story along. So, like what you see
exactly.
up there is pretty much working the story as it is. You've got all the caption boxes, all that. You see more cultists with folks in cages, whatever. Who knows what they're gonna do with those people? All the cool stuff. So it's just like, all right, well,
Exactly.
Trench is
Yeah.
out here just saving the world best they know, and nobody is aware of that. So it's quite riveting.
Man, just by looking at these photos, when I saw those trench coats, it gave me like Star-Lord vibe with from Guardians of the Galaxy with the trench coat, and then kind of gave me like the Blade vibe mixed with Alien vibe to it too. I'm like, it's so freaking cool, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that's your inspiration behind the character or anything, but that's just how it feels to me.
Yeah,
Like you feel like
absolutely.
you pull from like awesome different characters and make your own thing because that's how I do. I can pull from an Outer Cellar movie and mix it with a John Carpenter movie, make a horror comedy, or I can
Exactly.
mix the I don't know, let's see, a Power Ranger mixed with Sonic or something, and make my own thing. Since I'm talking about that, what like inspires you to create Trench? Is there like a certain movie, TV show, or characters that you like grew up loving, or like writer that you grew up loving? Like what inspired you? What inspired Trench?
So for me, trenches, it was originally like the core concept before I eventually, moved further into what trench turned into now. It was originally going to be a, Martian Manhunter or, mixed with like
Uh,
what was it? The Demon from DC, Etrigan the Demon. I was gonna, do a story kind of like that, a little bit.
like which one? Because there's multiple demons.
Well, no, that's the character's name, Etrigan the Demon.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, he's a rhyming demon,
Oh, okay. I'm following. I
mixed with,
got you.
if you've ever seen, say, Justice League Unlimited or the old Batman animated series, he makes a few appearances in those shows.
Gotcha.
Obviously not in great capacity, but
Right.
it was
I think I saw
originally
the
going to be
Justice
something
League
like that.
one. I don't think I saw the
Yep.
Batman.
If you remember the Justice League Unlimited episode where everyone gets turned to babies, he's in that episode.
Oh,
He
yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
with
Yeah.
Morgan Le Fay and Mordred and all those cool folks. Yeah, he
Ah,
was that was him. So
okay. Okay. You're jogging my memory now. Yeah, got you.
yep.
Okay.
See, there
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go. But originally, that was kind of the inspiration. I was like, well, I can't do that because I need something different. And like the guy I was originally going to do it with, I don't think we ever really got back on the same page for that, or we were just too busy to really make it work. So I'm like, I want to do something else, something kind of along the lines of what we were originally going to do. But like, let's kind of push it somewhere else now. So I figured, I'm like, why not do something more Hellboy inspired? And at the time, also, I was DC publishes a book called Absolute Martian Manhunter. And I've really been enjoying that book. It's very abstract, very trippy. It's a great book. It still has all the elements of Martian Manhunter as a character. Alien character with John Jones being, actual human this time, and the Martian being this abstract, being that just kind of attaches itself to John. And I was like, well, there's got to be something I can do with that. I'm like, all right, well, what if I made a alien in a trench coat, but like with Hellboy aesthetics, kind of like more so ape sapien visuals. So I'm like, all right, I should be able to do that just fine. And Trench came about. I asked my original collaborator Marcus Imenez, and he gave me a couple headshots and then some other ideas. And then one of my editors, who at the time we were all still trying to figure something out, Nate
Mm.
Schachter, he got me with Nico to, just collaborate as far as, the idea being a good fit for Nico. So,
Mm.
gave Nico my idea. Nico and I really vibed really well, and Trench pretty much come up from that.
Dude, that's what's important with collaboration. I mean, if you have to be able to you vibe with every party of the project.
Absolutely.
Because if no one's vibing, the project will fall apart. That's just how it is.
Exactly.
Especially if egos are clashing. Oh God, you hear that a lot in Hollywood since we talk about Hollywood monsters.
Oh, trust me, it
uh,
happens far too often.
oh, it's freaking crazy. And speaking of Hollywood, that's also kind of why I got into comics because I'm tired of Hollywood rehashes, like with the
Yeah,
reboots and like the sequels. Why am I waiting on someone to like create something that I want to see when I can just take the
do it
time to build
now.
it myself? Like,
Exactly.
dude,
You can't
I was
wait
like,
on everybody to do something that you want them to do. You want
exactly.
to see. You have to do it yourself.
Exactly, and I mean, for my main series, Arcfire, that's my main series right now. That's what I started with. I
Mm,
was like, I have an ending in mind for it. I think I might do like 20 issues of it, and then like do spin-offs of it to expand the universe.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I don't want to like overstay a character of the franchise.
yeah,
I want each character to be important because I don't have like one lead character. I have multiple leads. That's why I'm gonna do this main series of Arcfire to show his story and get to his ending and then spin off the characters to show their individual stories because they all have their own personalities. And
absolutely.
like, and I was um, like, don't worry, I'm not gonna do like Fast and Furious. I'm not gonna do nothing ridiculous. My stories will make sense. But that's one thing about me. Even like franchises I love, I'm going to make fun of them because that's what I do. I'm still going to critique it, even if I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I'm like, I laugh at people or when say, I mean, the people I don't listen to is the one that say, "Oh, it's trash." But if I'm like, can you explain why you say it's trash? If you just say it's
Mm,
trash, I'm not gonna talk to you.
exactly.
And I was like, yes, I love Fast and Furious, but I can pinpoint what stuff that don't make sense. Like, first of all, how the hell can Van Diesel pick up I don't know how many ton car with one arm, holding a gun on the other side? I was like, where the hell did Van Diesel get powers? Like, what the crap? Or I was like, I was like, how many times are you gonna try to say family in one scene? Like, seriously,
Exactly.
good lord. I'm like, do you not have any other vocabulary in this freaking script? I was like, that's because I love the freaking franchise. That's I'm not gonna critique it. Like, I'm still a fan at the end of the day. I'm still gonna watch each one. In my fourth year, I actually just met. I just became friends with another writer that we actually just found out I'm in the same city with, and not just the
Okay.
same city. We're in the same vicinity, about like we're legit like 5 minutes from each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. How small the world is. It's crazy.
Most
Oh,
definitely.
and so I sent him like a script of mine, like it's a kaiju story, and
Mm,
like I was like, before I send this to production, I feel like I'm missing something. Can you check this out? And so he checked it out, came back to me, and gave me amazing feedback and edited what I had in the script and make it so much freaking better. I'm like, that's the crap I've been missing. Like, thank you. And so now I'm getting to the point. I was like, okay, now I can trust somebody that can read my stuff and help me make it better. It's like these past
exactly.
few years, I didn't have an editor. I did it myself and just went with it. But now I have. I mean, I've always, like I legit. I'm not gonna lie. I freaking prayed to God. Asked him like, can you please bring me somebody that I could trust that could help me make these stories more impactful, just more smoother and more better, basically. Because I know I can do better. And
Exactly.
then God's like, hold my beer. I'll put you in the same city in the same facility. I'm saying, well, I'm like, dang, the Bible did say he does go beyond what you asked for. So I'm like, well, dang, okay. I'm kind of pinpointing back what you said earlier in the show about having an editor have and making sure that you someone that you can trust to make your story better than you thought that you had at first. And so I'm like, I'm actually gotten to that point where now me and my friend are actually going to collaborate more on both our scripts because he's going to see me his, I see him mine. So it's like we're getting that collaboration going. And I was like, okay, now I can actually ease some pressure off me now because I have someone I can that can give back to me where I'm like what I'm missing. My artist said it was an awesome story, but I don't feel like it's awesome yet. It doesn't feel awesome yet. And then he came back to me and said, "This story is awesome, but you can change it this way and slow it down." He's like, "The only issue you have is
Yep.
it's too fast." I was like,
Exactly.
"Fuck." I was like, "Crap." That's what I was missing. And he's like, you have great world building. You just need to slow it down in some of the pages so that so like your reader don't get confused, and so your reader can understand who these characters are. But great world building is just to slow it down a little bit. And I told him, I was like, this is like a hundredth draft because I did like when I first wrote it, it was like ideas coming out of my head, and I just
Hmm.
wrote it down very quickly so I won't forget it. I was completely honest. I know what I want to do, but I was like, but I knew I was missing something, and I was like, I was going too fast with it. Now I'm going back, not necessarily the drawing board. I'm just going back and adding his feedback into like chopping some stuff up, expanding the lore, and then slowing down the pacing a little bit. Especially learning in comics, you have a very constricted um what's the word? Space to tell a story, like because
Yep.
it's panel by panel. But it's like a movie, but it's just panel by panel. You don't want to oversaturate your panel, and you don't want to put too much action in the panel because you will lose your reader if you put too much in one panel, or like too much in one page. So you have to be
Exactly.
very strategic how you tell your story. And by the way, speaking of panels, this panel is amazing on your page, and I like wow. And also I kind of gave like a little bit of Spawn vibes too, a little bit too.
Probably find some in there somewhere.
Yeah, as an editor in chief, so I want to pick your brain some more about editing. Like I'm still learning about it. How do you like slow down your action sequences in these pages? Like, how do you know when it's like the good pacing at this page, and then you can like speed it up, but also slow it down? How do you balance that? Like, how do you figure that out?
So, since I've been doing this for, a long time now, my process for just doing things has changed, from a writer's perspective. So, for instance, what you see here, we went from, Trench going through, a whole cult sect to, being back on their ship, cleaning their, weapons, and then next thing you know, you're going into a flashback pretty much is what's going on here in those four panels. So,
Gotcha. So this is right here is like Baby Trench, and you're like his father, or
no, so this is Trench and his child, Trench and their
oh,
child.
okay,
So,
okay, got you, okay,
yep, it's not super evident just because there's no words on the page.
got
From
you, okay,
I thought I
gotcha.
put the letter page in there, but apparently I didn't. But no, so I, I used to just do everything off the top of my head and just write, and that doesn't work forever. So now how I make sure my pacing is real solid most of the time is, before I completely script a issue, I'll break it down in pages of four. So every set
Oh,
of four pages is a sequence. And in that, sequence, you're gonna see X, Y, Z going on, and then I move on to the next set of pages of
um,
four, and then the next four until I'm done. So in this case, what you're seeing, the first four pages Trench, really, I kind of cut. It was like page one, then I did it for 3 pages to coalesce or really, I did it 3 pages. So, establishing page, 2 pages worth of, this actually is the fifth page right here.
got
So,
you.
yeah, so I actually did because this is the cutoff before you see some backstory as to how Trench ended up on Earth and, how they ended up stranded is in the pages 5 through 8. So, this is
Uh,
Trench back on their planet with their child, and we don't get to see it yet. But the whole reason Trench is, disrupted from their outing with their child is because of what happens in the preceding pages after this, which, as any parent can attest, like they don't like leaving their child to go to work. But when you get stranded for a long time on Earth, like yeah, you get kind of upset when you don't get to go back home right away.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I freaking love that. That makes okay. Like now I know how to structure better. I'm like do about. I'm like okay, that makes sense. Actually, that's actually really good advice. Thank you for that, man.
No problem.
Like, come on, especially like I'm actually getting into writing superheroes now because I actually write a superhero series for somebody. Like we got the first book in production. I can't legally talk about it more yet, but
Oh,
we
it's
got the
okay.
first book in production, and so I've been struggling with the issue 2 and 3. She
Mm,
green like me to do, and so now listen to that advice. I said now I okay, thank you for that. So now I was like I'm gonna approach it that way because that's how I have been doing for the past 4 years. Just jotting down what's in my head,
yep,
and I was like you said, it doesn't work forever. I was like, it does not work forever. I'm still new key on
exactly.
the block, but now I'm getting better knowledge of how to structure it better. And it's like, I do 4 by 4. It's like,
And
okay,
if you got to do it in a way that befits you, that you can figure it out to configure it, it's not a one size fits all kind of method, but it does help a lot
right,
of people, better structure their work because, at the end of the day, most comic pages are divisible by four, and you got to make sure it's proper before you get it to a printer anyway. So this book being 24
true.
pages, like 24 pages, divide that by four, you get, you got a bunch of different sequences. So now you can better structure your work.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, dude, thank you, man, for
You're
real.
welcome.
Let's talk about these cover options. Which
So this
covers?
is cover A, by Nico
Uh,
Arcudi. the main series artist. It's one of my favorite covers, and he did it pretty fast too. Like literally, I feel
Jeez,
like it was
that's a lot of
overnight.
detail.
Yeah,
Holy smokes, overnight hell. Good lord. Wow.
and you can actually buy the original artwork of this cover on the campaign as well.
Ooh, y'all heard him, guys. Y'all better cop these freaking covers in the original if you want to. This is badass. Wow. This is cover B.
Yep, this is cover B by Ivan Espinoza.
Dude.
A really, really great young man. He's doing his due diligence as far as making sure he's doing what he needs to for artwork. He was very adamant on doing this. I thought it turned out phenomenally.
One thing I will say about Summit Comics, y'all make it hard to choose a cover.
Well, that's the point. You could always get them all. There's no shame in that.
True,
And then
true, true.
cover C by Marcus Jimenez. He's done pretty much a cover for almost every Summit book, I believe.
Oof, busy
So,
man.
oh, busy man, and he's always working. Honestly, I don't think Marcus has stopped working since I've met
It's funny. I've been told about my friends too. It's like, dude, do you ever sleep? I'm just like, yes, I've gotten better at it this time.
him. Gotta
I
sleep
was,
eventually, though.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Shout out these creators, Mr.
Yeah,
Devin R. Scott. I know that guy. I'm talking to him now.
yeah. I hope so. Unless it's an imposter. I've heard I've got
Oh no.
doppelgangers running around.
Nico, or how do you pronounce
Arcudi.
it? Cutie, Italian artist. Oh my
Yep.
God, awesome work. And then Reed, I don't know what butchers the name.
Reed Hinckley Barnes. He's our letterer, and he's lettered
What he said.
pretty much every book that I've done in the recent past. And we've been in the same space forever now, so it was bound to happen. Great letterer. Always recommend Reed.
And we got 17 days to go, guys. So how I think halfway there. It's
A
like
little over halfway. We're
17.
about
Yeah,
fifty-six
a little bit.
percent.
Yeah, I'm like a little bit over halfway there, guys. Whoever watching this, the link to this Kickstarter, Trench Hollywood Monsters #1 by Summit Comics and Devin R. Scott is in the link in the description of this video. Make sure you back it. You have 17 days to go. Let's get this sucker funded because Summit rules, and it's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Let's look at these rewards we got over here. You can get the Trench Noir. Wait, a Noir bundle? What the world?
So what that is those books are both my series, Noir and Trench.
Yeah.
Noir is my love letter to vigilante books like Batman, specifically Batwoman is why I made the book in the first place. They kept canceling her book
Yeah.
at DC, so I was like, I'm tired of this. So I just made my own. That's
Come
issue
on now.
zero.
Dude, why we
So
sound so much alike?
hey, sometimes there's a lot
uh,
of people that'll tell you the same out here. They get tired of having to wait or something gets canceled or they were so
true.
hyped by something they enjoyed, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
go on and
Oh,
make
God.
something inspired by it. Happens all the time.
And then you get the Trench digital copy
Yep, you got your
and
digital, you got your
digital
digital
deluxe.
deluxe that comes with prints of all the covers on the campaign,
Beautiful. Oh,
um, and some behind the scenes material as well. The
ooh.
script, stuff like that.
Oh, our
Yep, you got it.
cutie. Okay. This is, you can get the physical and digital in this one?
Yep. So
Yep.
every physical
Physical
copy
and digital.
comes with a digital copy.
Ah, nice. Love that. Beautiful. So while you're waiting on the physical, you can read it right now in the digital.
Exactly. So like I said, every physical tier will come with a digital reward. So you will get your digital
Sir,
trench. So once the book goes to the printer, basically you can sit back, read the book, and when you get it physically, you can read it again.
man, I'm
Yes.
always physical media. I'm
Yep.
full-fledged physical media supporter, man.
Exactly. And
Uh,
honestly, physical books are the best way to go because, like I said, if all the power were to go out tomorrow across the world and you had nothing, all your books digitally, that's gone.
yeah.
If you can afford to get it as a physical option, please do consider backing that because you still do get a digital book with it.
Beautiful. And
So
you
we
got a
have
Trench director's cut.
yep. So that director's cut is actually a special edition that will never be reprinted again. It's
Ooh.
basically for
That's
every,
why you limited it. That makes sense.
yep.
Okay.
So it's basically a full black and white, book essentially. It'll have the corresponding page of Trench and then a script next to it, essentially.
Come on, dude. Hell yes. And then you have an alien bundle? Holy
Yep,
smokes.
that'll have the deluxe edition or the director's cut rather, and then a copy of cover A with that, and then the digital book
Come
with it.
on. Dude,
Then
come on.
right below that is the Hollywood
Hollywood,
Treasure bundle, which has all the covers on it. So,
man.
well, all the standard covers, so A, B, and C on it. So no directors
Got,
on that one.
got you. Okay, got you.
Then we have the Epic Fantasy X
Summit.
Summit Digital, which is over 300 plus pages worth of digital comics. So it's all of my catalog, and then it'll give you the starter pack for Summit. So the 160 page Summit Pinnacle, as well as copies of Granite, Noir, and Upheaval, which were the first three Summit like ongoing titles. So
Yeah.
you'll get all of that plus anything out of my back catalog with that.
Woo-hoo, there's some good freaking deals too.
Absolutely. Then obviously for retailers, we got a retailer package. So retailers will get X amount of
Nice.
books on the campaign, so that way they can have them in store to sell to their customers.
Beautiful.
And then we have the all trench bundle, which is pretty much everything down the list that we've talked about, including the director's cut as
Including
well.
it?
Yeah.
Dude, and it's only $60. It's affordable? Let's
Honestly,
freaking
a
go.
lot of people would charge more for this, but you know what?
Yeah, they
I'm being
would.
generous, so I figure, why not? And then we got the cool thing at the very bottom.
Is this the
You
original
get,
art? This the original art.
yep, you get the
Oh,
original art for the cover of Trench.
that is beautiful.
And it's a one of one piece, beautifully done by Nico. I would keep it for myself. So if nobody gets it, like I'll just pay Nico for it.
Oh man.
That's Dagon's contract. So
Dagons, thank you.
basically, that's
Thank you.
how.
Okay.
That's one way to be eligible for the 48-hour, exclusive print. I put
Yeah.
two rewards up, and then every other reward was still within that time frame was eligible for this print. So
Ah,
basically, I'll go through and at the end of the campaign when it's funded, I'll go through screen the people that got in 48 hours, and then pretty much distribute those rewards as they come, so that way they can get all that lovely stuff there. And then obviously I got other things like add-ons of my back material in a digital
right.
format. I know there's a trench sticker, um, cool stuff like that.
And guys, this thing, this trench story and all of the rewards are so badass. You need to back this book today. Well, yesterday you should have backed it, but still, you need to back this book right now. Link is in the description of this video. This is freaking beautiful, man. Oh my
Thank you.
god. Oh my god, dude. Congratulations on this freaking world that you guys are building a Summit.
Thank you.
I was like, bro, Summit is going to take out Marvel and DC someday. But I'm a firm believer it will. So I don't care if anybody might back me for it. I don't give a crap. I have a backbone, so do your worst. I've been called worse. I don't care. But go back. This campaign, guys, is live right now. Over halfway there. 17 days left. Description. I mean, Jesus. Link in the description of this video. Before we hop off, man, Devin, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's a pleasure to actually meet you finally.
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
I got inspired to do this thing from a wrestling podcast where he asks his guests, what is your top three things you're thankful for and grateful for? Because we're all about Thanksgiving and we just want to spread positivity because this world has been too dark lately. It's like for me, mine is first God, as always. I wouldn't even be here today without God and family and creativity. But just us, just be able to breathe and just breathe new life every single day is what I'm thankful for, and just being able to be an inspiration to somebody, even if it's just one person. That
Yeah.
just makes my entire day. So that's what I'm thankful for. What's like your top things that you're thankful for?
Thankful for my family, so my wife and my son. Without their support, I would not be doing this, especially my wife, because she's the reason why I got pushed into being able to create comics in the first place. If not for her solid backing and belief that I could do this as a career path.
Come on, man.
Thank you to all, the people that have supported me as well, fans wise, for all the people I've met at conventions, all the creators that I've become mutuals with, friends with, all the pros from the big two or otherwise that have seen me and, constantly speak on my character in a positive light. I appreciate you all. And then just, wow, I don't even know if I could really come up with a third one. If I have to say a third one at all, just comics as a medium as a whole. I'm thankful for comics because it's one of the best like forms of entertainment. There's nothing better than a good book. Really, books in general. I love reading books or just
Yeah,
reading in general. So if not for all this stuff, I probably wouldn't be nearly as entertained with things in the world as I happen to be, and it wouldn't have allowed me to, just be inspired enough to take the creative steps as well to do what I do, whether it's writing comics, wanting to eventually get back to novel writing and all that lovely stuff. So without all these three things, like I don't think that I'd be nearly interesting an individual or be able to do any of this without them particularly.
man. Hell yeah, brother. I love that, man. And where can we follow you on social media to keep up with everything you're doing?
So I am on Instagram and Twitter at CBDevin95, I believe. I got a Substack. It's called the Epic Fantasy Studios Substack. Or you can just term search me on Google and put Substack at the end of that. So Devin R. Scott on Substack, and it should pop up. I think I'm the only Devin R. Scott on Substack anyway. Yeah, I think that's everywhere I am. And obviously follow Summit Comics, follow what we're doing. We've got Wayfarer up right now, still alongside Trench. Wayfarer has like 2 days left on its campaign. So if you want another alien book that's more like the Odyssey, if you've ever read the lovely Greek book, the Greek story of Odysseus, think of Odysseus, but as an alien in space. Like that's what Wayfarer is,
Holy smokes.
done
Okay.
by Nate Schachter, who was also a protege of DC Comics' lovely Batman writer, absolute Batman writer, Scott Snyder. So,
Whoa. What?
yeah,
That's so freaking cool.
it is.
Wow.
Nate is a treasure, and if you love Scott Snyder's work on Batman, whether it's Absolute Batman or just Batman in general, when he wrote it, which would have been right before you got into comics, crazy enough, he's the man. Because quite frankly, I think I see a lot of Scott's influence in Nate, and you see a lot of great ideas in Wayfarer. Scott even endorsed it too, so we got the Scott Snyder stamp on Wayfarer.
That's
So
cool.
going back that book before it's too late, and then you have to get it for, at a con or on our website, which I guess those are cool too, but like you get it first through the Kickstarter. So go hop over there.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis official, and you can find me on Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO. Also TikTok, you can find me at Kevin Davis CEO as well, and in Kevin's Fate on wherever you find podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and my YouTube is Kevisel. But the Kickstarter of Trench and Wayfarer will be or are in the description of this video. While you guys watching, make sure you go back both books from Summit Comics because Summit rules. And we will catch you guys next time on Kevin's Fate.
Take it easy.